Good morning.
Buenos dias!
Or that.
Well, there are a lot of ways to say good morning to someone you know.
I guess so.
Good morning. Bonjour. What time of the morning to you?
Hello, my honey, hello, my darling, hello, my rectangle.
Doble jutro.
Private, what is your major malfunction? Guten Morgen. Well, howdy.
Oh, it's so nice to see you.
Don't you think that hat's maybe a little bit strange?
Why do you say that?
I don't know. It's just striped and Christmassy. It looks like a candy cane and
Yeah, it's an amazing hat. It's one of my favorite hats, and I wore it today because it's so tall. And it reminds me of the story from the Bible for today.
really?
Yeah, it's from Genesis chapter 11. You can read about it in there. It's the story of the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel.
The Tower of Babel?
That's the one. Yeah. So anyway, what happened was that God had told people to distribute throughout the entire world. And so they were supposed to spread out and inhabit the whole world. But there was a group of people that found this really nice place called the Plain of Shinar. And they decided they didn't want to spread out from there. They were going to stay there the rest of the time. And they decided that they were going to build this great big tower, and that would make it so that if anyone tried to make them spread out, then they wouldn't be forced to leave. And so they were going to build this tower. Now, they were doing that to prevent the very thing that God had told them to do. And so as they're building this tower to make it so they don't have to spread out, God was watching. And it says that God came down and he looked at their little tower. Even though it was big to them, it's not so big to God. And he decided he was going to put a stop to it. And so what he did was he came down and he decided to confuse all the languages. So they were trying to communicate with one another, but they couldn't, because no one could understand what the other guy was saying. And so there was all this confusion, and they got so frustrated that they decided they were going to stop working on the tower altogether. Now that's a pretty ingenious solution. And then it says from there that God spread them out across the entire world. Liz, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to knock down your tower. I was just trying to tell the story. But you know what? I bet they were pretty sad when God put a stop to them building their tower. And it was a tough lesson that they had to learn. But you know what? They had to learn the important lesson that when God tells you to do something, you need to do it. And you're not the one in charge. He is. And so they learned that lesson. You know, that's a great lesson for you to learn as a kid. Because if you learn it when you're a kid, then maybe you won't have to relearn it the hard way as a grown-up. Well, we've got a special activity we want you to do for our contest this week to help you remember this story. And what we want you to do is we want you to build your own Tower of Babel. I said it! And then what we want you to do is to build a tower that's taller than you. And Liz is going to tell you what you need to do.
Yeah, all you have to do is take a picture of you standing next to your tower and then send it to us with a direct message on Instagram. Our Instagram is NHWC Kids Contest.
Now we want to make sure that you send us those direct messages with you standing next to your tower by Friday morning, because that's the cutoff in order to be eligible for the contest this week.
But Dad, don't forget about this week's winner.
Oh, thanks, Becca. I almost forgot. Now, this week's winner is Aiden. Now, Aiden made a really cool tree from last week's contest, and it was built entirely with Legos. Apparently, Aiden's a little bit crazy about Legos. And so, Aiden, because you're the prize winner, we're going to send you a brand new box of Legos to add to your apparently already creative and perhaps extensive collection. All right. Well, that's all we have for this week. But we just wanted to say thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing your artwork, and make sure you direct message it to us on Instagram so we get it before Friday. And we will talk to you next time. The Tower of Babel. The Tour of Bible. The Tower of Babel.
The Tower of Babel, Dad.
Easy for you to say.